On today's show, the Wild on the Water fishing tournament lives up to the name. Hockey players and fans get a real dose of Minnesota adventure as weather plays with our fishing tournament. Meet Bill the bug photographer, a guy with a knack for taking some pretty special photos.
Ooh, listen to that.
Plus, a new recipe you should try the next time you catch a couple of walleyes.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hey everybody, Bill and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound.
Every summer, we team up with the Minnesota Wild for a friendly sort of fishing tournament.
Fans get a chance to fish with their favorite players and coaches while raising money for Minnesota Wild charities.
But last summer's event truly defined the name, Wild on the Water. The name tells this story. A friendly fishing tournament where hockey fans first meet their Minnesota Wild heroes. Coaches and players present and past. Who knew such a colorful Mille Lacs Lake charity event could also be so wild? Something gets the morning birds all riled up. Fishing guides pair with a Wild player or coach and a fan.
My mic on, can you hear it? Okay.
Minnesotan Ryan Carter played more than 500 games in the NHL.
Hey dude, how's it going?
Nico Lenci hopes to play that many someday. For now, this young fan gets to fish alongside Ryan. Oh, and also Ryan.
You gonna let it sink to the bottom? Should I spray it at the parents on the dock?
Oh, for sure.
That's Ryan Johnson, one of Minnesota's best amateur bass anglers. He's the guide.
Be safe, let's have fun.
Let's be safe, but most importantly, let's win. Here we go.
A breeze-infused bass boat ride offers Nico new sensations. And maybe a bit of anxiety, too. Can't blame him fishing with these guys.
Yeah, this is way windier than I thought it would be.
Gusts above 30 miles an hour make first cast difficult.
Yeah, boy, it's howling right here.
No big deal for Nico.
Oh,
Look at the net.
it's big.
Yes.
Big one.
Take your time, they're strong.
Nice job. Bring it over here.
Big walleye.
Great job, buddy.
Look at that.
The first walleye that I caught was a 24-inch.
Way to go, bud, you got us on the board. What do you think?
It was a big fish.
It was a huge fish. We got Nico, and I felt like maybe we were gonna have to teach him some things about fishing, but it turned out to be the opposite. He had to teach us a few things. I think his second cast, he already had a walleye on, so he was great.
Good guides put people on fish,
Nico, we need you to hook another one.
but even the best could never control the weather.
Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. Yeah, that looks nasty.
Better fish quickly.
How long is that?
8 minutes ago.
We gotta head towards I-80s, don't we?
A severe storm races across Mille Lacs Lake.
Oh, she's running!
Good one. Wait, the wind's going the other way now.
Yeah, it's time to go. It's bizarre. You can see the wall cloud coming. It looked dicey, so we had to bolt for cover.
Which comes in a small, safe harbor.
Holy cow! This is insane.
sometimes bad weather cuts good fishing short.
North is that way. Is that right?
Anglers ride out the weather in darkness. Although excitement eventually gets old, even for a kid.
Now the bay is all calm. There's no waves.
A small window of clear weather gives teams one chance to fish.
I think that it's just fun to catch fish and stuff. And it's relaxing.
Nico won't wait long.
Great job, Nico. Ooh, another walleye, bud. Atta boy! Hey, way to go, bud. Nico.
Feels like a smallie, too.
You finally caught one.
Nice carp.
Dream fishing trips never last forever. Today's tournament might be more about the story. The best fishing trips always are.
You were the best fisherman.
Yeah?
Oh, you caught the first one, yeah.
I caught two.
Awesome.
Especially when they earn the title, Wild on the Water.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut, Coors Light, Star Bank, and by Alumacraft Boats.
Some people like to photograph wildlife or even wildflowers, but Bill Johnson's work is just an itty bit different.
My main lens that I'm working with is a 100mm lens. I can control either one of these independently.
Bill Johnson clocks in.
Full power down to, I think it's 250th of a power.
Bill heads out to find a subject for today's shoot.
I set my ASA down to 125.
Now, Bill's work takes time. See, he's sort of looking for nature's version of a needle in a haystack.
Basically, when I'm moving in close to these things, I wind up holding my breath to sort of stop my movement. And I feel a lot of times I've been holding my breath for maybe a third of my lifetime.
Bill made a name for himself as the best in the bug photography business, and not just in Minnesota, but around the globe. Specializing in close-up, I mean really close-up photography, what the pros call macro photography.
Let's see if I can get really close to this guy. There's that. I think I was probably about 5 years old, and I was in my grandmother's garden. I saw something fly into a flower. So I went over to the flower and stuck my finger in it, and the flower bit me. At least that's what I thought. And this thing flew out, and I think that started my little reptilian brain. I need to find out what that was that stung me and learn more about these things. Probably in the early 90s. At that point, I realized I had about 50-some thousand slides in my stock. And one day it hit me looking at a magazine, you know, all these pictures in these magazines, somebody had to take them. My first image that was published wound up in a major national magazine called Natural History. And it was a 1.5-page image, which just blew me away. It paid the mortgage that month, and I thought, this is fun.
He hopes that his close-up and personal photos might help someone get over their fear of certain bugs.
I mean, some people just, they're not going to get anywhere near them, but we keep on trying. Because some of these things, when you see them up close, I didn't know they came that way. I didn't know the colors were like that. And I'm trying to show the beauty of these things, as well as the diversity, and just hope the next generation becomes more interested in them and more aware of them.
Suppose that's why his images have colored the pages of more than 800 magazines and books. Oh, and Bill writes too. But his favorite place is, as the saying goes, right in the middle of a hornet's nest. But no, he's never been stung.
They are too busy doing what they're doing. And in doing this kind of work, be real still, move slowly, don't wave your hands in the air and don't, try to create a commotion. And stuff like this will happen where there's a monarch about to land on a flower up there, which it just did.
Wow!
Still ahead, a twist for your next fish fry. And later, a Minnesota-bound classic all about nature's Pied Piper.
Closed captioning is brought to you by North Dakota Tourism.
Hi everybody, today we're getting wild in the outdoor kitchen and I'm here with Chef Jim Kinberg from Crave Restaurants. And Chef Jim, it looks like we are making a Minnesota favorite, which is walleye.
Correct. We have some walleye today. We're in the heat of summer, so we're going to be keeping it kind of light. We're actually doing walleye lettuce wraps. We're going to give it a lot of flavor with one of my new favorite ingredients, spicy chili crisp. Laura, if you want to start with, we have some hoisin sauce over on the left, and we're just going to brush that kind of over each fillet.
Generously or lightly?
Moderately.
Moderately, right in the middle.
Right in the middle. And if you also notice too, I did leave the skin on this one because we're going to be grilling it, and that helps it from flaking apart. Next step, we're moving on to the spicy chili crisp. I have mixed in just a little bit of mayonnaise, and you're going to use that spoon and just kind of spread it across the top of that walleye, almost like a crust.
So what's chili crisp? Is this something you got from a jar or?
It is. It's a byproduct of infused spicy chili oil. So all those chilies, the garlic, the ginger,
Yum.
the spices that they make that Asian chili oil with, when they strain that off, that's what's left behind.
This smells so good, this paste. And last we have?
I've chopped up some cilantro, and you're just gonna sprinkle that over the top.
I love cilantro.
Yeah, it really ties in well with the flavors.
Look how beautiful this is, and we haven't even started to grill it yet. So we're ready for the grill. I see you have a skillet on the grill.
I do. This is, if tin foil will work, I've got this cast iron plate. I like to use that with seafood. It works really well. It's almost like a plancha.
Ooh,
Perfect.
listen to that sizzle. Saving the best for last.
There you go.
There we go. All right, has it been about 10 minutes?
It has. I think these are about perfect. Yep, those look great. Smell
Looks
even better.
Amazing and smells amazing.
Let's assemble. Getting hungry.
Me too.
And we can assemble these any way you want. Really is on your preference what you like. If you just like it simple, lettuce and fish, great. All right, and then for toppings, I've got some slaw and I've got some herbs in there. The herbs I've used, there's a little fresh basil and fresh mint. Got some green onions, got some crushed peanuts, a little squeeze of lime.
Last but not least,
Here's a little peanut sauce, so a little coconut peanut sauce.
All right.
Well, the only other challenge is how to eat this without making a mess.
I'm ready for a taste test, are you?
Let's dive in.
This is gonna be a messy one, Chef.
Good luck.
Oh my gosh. This is delicious.
Okay.
All right, for this recipe and more, remember, you can always go to mnbound.com/wildinthekitchen. And if you haven't had that much luck in the boat this summer, this recipe is available at Crave Restaurants, only it's made with chicken. So good,
True.
Chef Jim.
Thank you.
Woo. Those were certainly delicious. If you'd like to see a more detailed recipe, all of our Wild in the Kitchen recipes are on mnbound.com/wildinthekitchen.
Straight ahead, today's Minnesota Bound Classic takes us way back to the days of Doug Wood.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Shields, Bent Creek Golf Club, Eden Prairie, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Today's Minnesota Bound Classic takes us back to 2001, where Ron Schara met nature's true Pied Piper.
A canoe carries Doug Wood down the Mississippi River. But it's his words as a nature writer that leads Wood's readers vicariously along the same path.
If we see beauty in one another and in the plants and animals and elements of the world, we will probably do a pretty good job of taking care of it, whether someone's beating us over the head and telling us to or not.
But to care for nature and do it right, Wood understands we must know what we're doing. He learned some of his lessons from the forest.
The bloodroot's one of the first blooming wildflowers in the spring. And it's called bloodroot because if you take one of these stems, you break the stem down near close to the ground, it releases a bunch of red sap, just the color of blood. You can even paint your face with it. And this is a wonderful sensation just to feel these wild ginger leaves, just like velvet, and the soft underside is even softer. They don't attract a lot of attention, but if you take the time to notice them, they're really beautiful. Now, that smells like the earth. That's a good smell.
Wood says trees are teachers when you hang around them.
Trees teach us about the importance of roots. They teach us about the importance of bending in the wind. They teach us about the importance of reaching for the sky, reaching for the stars. They teach us about the importance of giving. I think if a human being managed its affairs as well as a tree, as someone once said, the world would be in pretty good shape.
In Wood's world, his projects come to life here in a century-old cabin perched along the Mississippi.
A new voice spoke. It rumbled loudly like thunder, and it whispered softly like butterfly sneezes. The voice seemed to come from, it seemed to come from Old Turtle.
The Old Turtle. The book is one of his most popular works. It's a short, simple story, but it's been called an environmental fable for our time.
And it's about looking at the earth and looking at one another in a spiritual way, and the idea that in seeing goodness and beauty in the living beings of the world, the human beings and the plant beings and the animal beings, we see goodness and beauty in ourselves, and we will treat the earth in a manner that is sustainable and a way that will leave a planet perhaps just a tiny bit better than it was when we came to it.
Wood also sings his nature lessons. A talented musician and composer, his songs remind us of our connections.
Something about music communicates even when words don't. And I think that's probably the most powerful thing about music. It's just it's a great communicator.
And we've got to take good care of our little blue ball, because you know it's
Wood's words and songs are for young people, he says. It's his way of showing them the joy of living in harmony with things natural.
'Cause we're living on a little green speck, on a little blue ball, in a big black sky, all alone, pretty good.
You could say Doug Wood is like Mother Nature's Pied Piper. Oh, he's got his causes, yes. But there's more to this singer-writer. Frankly, I think he just likes being outdoors.
And I think that most of the important things in the outdoors and the way that human beings relate to the outdoors are of that nature. Difficult to describe, difficult to put into words or into numbers, but still very important.
Be sure to check out our Minnesota Bound Facebook page, where you can see more of our favorite outdoor stories.
Well, that about does it for us. We hope to see you back here next week.
In the meantime, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433.